Alright, what's up, gang? Doing something a little bit different today. I've done one of these in the past, so this will be my second one. Just going to talk about my last 10 reads. Um, Got them all stacked up here. I want to start with the one I just finished. I just finished this a few minutes ago, so it's fresh in my head. This is James Herbert, The Rats. I have not read any of his stuff before. This one just caught my eye. Half Price Books. I picked it up for a cheap price, and this was excellent. This was really well done. It's a quick read. I just found out it's a trilogy, so I'm probably going to look into getting the other two books that come after this, possibly. See if I can find them at Half Price Books or online or something. But this was really, really well done. I liked the main character. I liked, there's a lot of like little vignettes, side stories where you get to meet new characters, but I will say don't get attached to these characters. So he does a great job of getting you invested in random people really quickly, and you find out everything you need to know about this person really quickly, and you even come to like some of these people. And yeah, they're not going to be sticking around for very long. I'll go ahead and let you know that. But really cool book. I highly recommend it. It had some moments that I would say rival Jack Ketchum as far as holy crap, I can't believe I just read that, and I feel really bad for this person. So definitely give this one a shot if you like horror. And this edition had a little forward by Neil Gaiman, so that was pretty cool. And like I said, I will probably be tracking down these sequels. Then I want to get into all the Atlas stuff I've been buying. If you don't know, Atlas was a comics company in the 70s. They tried to rival Marvel and DC, and it didn't really happen for them. They think the max they hit on any given issue was four issues. So they weren't around too long, but they're kind of coming back. I have all of their comic books collected over the years, and they've started putting out novelizations. So we'll start with the one that I like the best, which was the first one that they released. This is Target by Richard Myers. And this one is kind of a Dirty Harry meets James Bond. And it takes place in the 70s. It's got a very 70s grit to it. I like the main character. I like the side characters. I don't really know what else to say about it. The way it ends is kind of like a cliffhanger. You can tell they're going for a serial type feel to these. But this one is by far the best. If anybody out there is thinking about picking any of these up, this is really the only one I recommend at this point. I really like the character of Target. He's got some great one-liners, of course. Just a very, like, I don't know, it kind of, I guess, reminded me of The Destroyer, Remo Williams. So I'm a fan of this one. I like this one. If they do turn in any of these into movies like they're talking about, I kind of hope we see Target. The next one was The Bog Beast. This is by Richard Levy. I did not like this. This one should have been amazing. It's got me written all over it. It's a monster. It takes place in old Hollywood. It's a movie set that gets destroyed by this monster. It's just not very well done. There's it kind of goes back and forth between modern day and back, in the 50s when this was a big monster movie coming out. And the reporter who's investigating it now, he has some episodes where he will kind of zone out and he'll see what's going on through the monster's eyes. It's never explained. I don't understand what the hell was going on, so I can't imagine how any reader's just gonna be like, just go with it. It just doesn't make sense, and the story's all over the place after the main premise of the movie set and the monster. After that, it goes on to, like, there's a Bonnie and Clyde character. There's carnies. I don't know. I just did not care for it the way it was written, I guess. And like I said, the story is all over the place, but it's got so much potential that I hope that if they do film it, they stick with the movie set, stick with the monster terrorizing the movie set. That's really kind of all you need. Had a good premise, so don't really recommend it though. The next one out of this Atlas bunch is Wreckage. This particular character never had a comic book. He was kind of an idea that was left behind, and this was by Sam Rovin. This one is better than Bog Beast, but it's not as good as Target. And there's some stuff in this one I don't really understand either. I really don't understand how the character gets his powers. The plot is they're drilling into the core of the earth, and somehow he's got these things on his wrists that can harness the magma from the center of the earth, and it gives him these heat powers. But also he's got these two demons that somehow manifest after he gets these powers, and they're kind of like not really his conscience, or it's kind of like, I guess, those old cartoons where he's got like character have a devil on his shoulder and an angel on his shoulder, kind of talking to him, making fun of him and stuff. But this time they're both devils. But I don't know. It didn't quite come together. And this is the most superhero of the three, but I don't really recommend this one either, unfortunately. And the last one of the Atlas stuff. This is a magazine they put out, but it's it's short stories. It's 4 different short stories. And this is basically connecting the universe and telling you that it is a universe, and that all 3 of these prior books they do take place in the same universe, even though they really don't have much in common. These 4 stories kind of intersect and connect everything to let you know that, hey, we're building a universe here, and if we do movies, I'm sure they're all going to link into. But this one's okay. Target comes back for this one. And there's some other things going on that you will only get if you are a fan of Atlas Comics. There's a character, Phoenix, that plays a role, and I think they're bringing in Devilina, which nobody's really going to understand any of what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to go on to the next one. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5, so we got 5 more to go. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and jump into this one. This is Kentucky Cryptids by Ron Coffey. I am from Kentucky, born and raised. Love it here. Love reading about the state, especially weird ghost stories, supernatural stuff. This book is basically just very matter-of-fact descriptions of people running into Bigfoot. And it's mainly Bigfoot. There's some other stuff in here. There's some stuff I've never heard of. There's like giraffe possums. I never heard of that. There's Kentucky panthers, which actually was a big one back home. They actually said there was a panther running around the hills from where I'm from. But for the most part, it's just Bigfoot. And like I said, it's very matter of fact. It's just very short. This guy saw Bigfoot driving down I-95 or what have you. I don't necessarily recommend it, especially if you're not from here. You're not going to care. But, I'm into all stuff like this, so it was okay. Probably won't ever pick it up again. Let's see. The next thing is Young Justice. This is the first volume of the comic series that ties into the television show. And I've said many times, Young Justice is probably my favorite DC property. It's the best cartoon that they've ever put out. I think it's the best anything they've put out. I really like it. So this was okay. It kind of takes place in between each episode. Every episode there's a timestamp and a date on it, and this kind of correlates with that. So it's pretty cool. Only get this if you are a big fan of the cartoon, though. Next up, we've got, this is Nintendo World of Power. I think they put out like 8 of these. 8 or 12, I can't remember. There's very short, very little, novella basically. This was, if you remember the Scholastic Book Fairs when you were a kid, you will probably remember these. They mainly took some of their most popular Nintendo titles and made short stories out of them, basically. This one's actually different from the other ones. This is a prequel. Shadowgate is the name of the game, and I had a phase recently where I went back and played this game and the other games that were just like it, and just had fun remembering everything about them. Of course, I got hooked and found this on eBay and grabbed it. And this is pretty cool. Like I said, it's a prequel to the game. And I know there's one for Castlevania. I think there's a Ninja Gaiden one, a Metal Gear one, of course. So I wouldn't mind tracking the rest of these down at some point. I think there was a Mega Man one as well. Definitely want to check them out. And like I said, these are for kids, but this was pretty cool. It's a good little fantasy. I enjoyed it, and I'm definitely gonna probably try to track down the rest of these if I can. And next up, we've got Night Sounds by Warner Lee. Warner Lee is a pen name for a different writer. I forget his actual name, but I have all the books he's written as Warner Lee. So, started with It's Loose. When I read this one when I was real young, I think I was maybe 12 when I found this one, and probably 13 or 14 when I found Into the Pit. And I really dug these as a kid. I don't remember them, so I don't know if they're going to hold up, because Night Sounds is not that good. The basic plot is this guy survives a plane crash, and he's the sole survivor, which we've seen this premise before. And he brings something back with him into the real world. There's also a psychic woman who's halfway across the country who feels like she feels this connection to him, and she's got to help him. And there's these forces that are kind of trying to stop them from getting together. And there's all these weird vignettes of things that, it's like random ideas he had that don't really go together. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think he kind of failed to explain a lot of different things that are going on in the book. So it's funny because I praise the Rats for the vignettes because they're very well written and I get invested in the characters immediately. And this one, the vignettes don't make any sense at all. So not going to recommend this one. This was a very, very bad book. Hopefully these two live up, because I'm still going to recommend these. So, and then the last of the 10 is this big bad boy. This is the Incorruptible Omnibus. This thing is pretty huge. It's got every issue of Incorruptible. Mark Waid wrote this. This is the companion piece to Irredeemable, which is also huge. I recommend that if you like comic books at all, that you read these, because these are probably the best comic books that I've ever read. And I've read a lot of comic books. So I can't say enough about this. The premise of Irredeemable is basically a Superman-like character. He's the head of the Justice League in this universe. He's the ultimate good. Something happens to him that turns him into just the most destructible force in the world, and he kills a lot of people, and there's no coming back from that. And this, ironically, is one of his arch nemesis takes it upon himself to then fill his role as a good guy and try to fix a lot of what is going on in the world now that the Superman figure has turned bad. So I highly recommend check both these out if you like comic books, or if you just like good stories. They are excellent. And I will read anything that Mark Waid writes now. I've got Kingdom Come coming in the mail. It's supposed to be amazing too. So anyway, those are the last 10 things I read. Got some good stuff, got some bad stuff. I mainly recommend, out of everything I just showed you, the Incorruptible Omnibuses and the Rats. This was really cool. Really good book. So anyway, that's all I got for now. So until next time, stay afraid.